Okay, so hello and good day, everyone, from wherever you're joining us. We're delighted to welcome you to this second component of our maiden webinar record by BMS. So in this second part, we are going to be talking about unlocking opportunities rather through strong endorsement. Well, that's about referees and their letters of recommendation for you and as an applicant. So this segment will be presented by Silas Oganemaro Emovodo, and a brief bio about Silas. I'll be very brief. He is a communication consultant with the uh, research fellowship on bridging cultural divides at Tapuan Fellowship 2025, which is by Ateneo de Manila University in the Philippines. And he also won the GCC Fellowship Travel Grant, which was to attend the 18th Graduate Climate Conference in Washington in 2024 in the US. So he's also or he was a visiting fellow at Alanga Institute of Indian Ocean Crossroads, July 2024, and he is also an awardee of the UBD, that's University Brunei Darussalam Graduate Scholarship uh, since 2021, where he's currently a PhD candidate in professional communication and media. So he has also won the Burst Paper Idea and Award in Leadership and Entrepreneurship, and also silver medal at Bravo Jaya Youth Economic Forum in 2019, and also was awarded Elanga um, University Development Scholarship by Universitas Erlangga in Surabaya, Indonesia in 2018. And uh, he won the Damasiswa Indonesian Scholarship, which is on Indonesian language for 1 year program. He won that award in 2017. So well, without much ado, with a lengthy bio, I will just have to stop there. I want to call on Silas. You have the floor. Please take it from me.
All right, thank you very much. That's a mouthful, but thank you for reading through that bio. All right, everyone, I'm just going to go quickly into it, and just building on what the first session on, the basics of application. When you are applying for any opportunity, whether it's especially if it's a scholarship or it's a grant or anything, you would need, most often than not, to submit a letter of recommendation or letters of recommendation. And so I'm just going to be taking us through how to unlock these opportunities through strong endorsement. Okay, that's your letter of recommendation. Now, so what is a letter of recommendation? Basically, our session is going to be addressing this, the objective of this presentation, so that you would understand the importance of letters of recommendation in your scholarship application, as well as to provide actionable tips on how to secure strong letters of recommendations or LORs. Then I'm going to be discussing common pitfalls and best practices. So basically, the question that we're trying to attend to in this presentation is, how can you ensure that your letters of recommendation stand out and strengthen your application? Okay. So what is a letter of recommendation or an LOR? It's basically a formal document that is written by someone who knows you well, and it's highlighting your skills, your achievements, and your potential. The purpose of your LOR in a scholarship is basically to, number one, validate your claims in your application. Okay, it's the claims you make, it's going to validate it. And then it's also going to give a third-party perspective on your character, your academic abilities, your leadership skills, and your commitment to any project. So that is why it's important to have um, letters of recommendation in your scholarship. Okay. Now, what are the types of recommenders that we have? Basically, you have academic recommenders. So some of the scholarships, whether they mention it or not, when they tell you to bring a letter of recommendation, these are the people, the set that you should be thinking of getting your letter of recommendation from. Number one is your academic, maybe your professors, your supervisors during your undergraduate study program or during your master's study program, your teachers if you're an undergrad, if you're applying for a bachelor scholarship, your teachers in secondary school or in high school come in handy. Someone from your professional background, if you've been working, your employer, your mentors also. And then you can also get from your community leaders. Maybe you volunteered in a community or an NGO, your religious or traditional leaders as well. And this is because these are people that know you and you've worked with them, and they can really speak to your ability. Why are LORs important? Yeah, it's important for the scholarship committee because for the scholarship committee that will be deciding who to select, it's an evidence of your qualities beyond grades and test scores. When scholarship committee members are deciding or screening who to choose, yes, everybody comes in with their best foot. You have very good applications, strong grades and test scores and all of that. But they need something more than that. And so when they see your letter of recommendation, they see the caliber of the person who is recommending you, and based on how much they know you, it testifies to those qualities. Secondly, letters of recommendation offers insight into your personality, your work ethic, and your future potential. So that is what the scholarship committee sees when they get a letter of recommendation. Also, it has an impact on decision making. So the scholarship committee is going to decide whether they'll select you or not. And when they see a letter of recommendation, a compelling letter of recommendation is a competitive edge. All right. Whereas if your letter of recommendation is weak or it's just generic, it can actually reduce your chances of an otherwise strong application. So it's possible to have a very strong application where your results are good and all of that. But if your letter of recommendation is weak, it can and be a bad signal and can be a disadvantage to your application. Now, when it comes to choosing your recommenders, what are some of the things to be on the lookout for? Okay. Number one, you want to choose someone who knows you well academically, professionally, or personally. And of course, this person must not have any familial or family ties with you, okay? So that they are neutral, okay? It has to be someone who knows you very well. So, for example, your academic supervisor. So, if you just graduated from your bachelor's or your first degree, your final year project supervisor is in a good place to give you a recommendation, especially because they know how well you've worked. Your supervisor during your master's program is also someone who can write on your behalf. The other criteria is someone who can speak to your strengths that are relevant to the scholarship goals. Now, every scholarship has their goals, okay? Um, the scholarship goals is different from that of a grant. And whether it's a grant or a scholarship or even a job you're applying for, if you have the right person, they can actually speak to your strengths that are relevant to the goals of that scholarship. All right. So your supervisor at work or a volunteer organization can speak to that. That's a good example. Then the third thing is to avoid choosing based solely on title or prestige if they don't know you deeply. Okay, some people erroneously think that if they choose somebody who is prestigious, who has a big title, and that person doesn't know you, it actually may not help you because they may end up writing just a generic, weak letter of recommendation for you, and they will not speak to your strength, and that may not help you. So make sure you watch out for this criteria when you are choosing who will recommend you. Now, what are some of the writing tips for recommenders? Okay. Um, the structure of this of a strong LOR comes in. There are three basic things when writing a letter of recommendation. And mind you, a letter of recommendation is just 1 page to 2 pages long, max. It shouldn't go beyond 2 pages. And if it is stated in the application that they want only 1 page, then stick to 1 page. But if they don't state it and they just say letter of recommendation, please do not go beyond 2 pages. Okay. So the introduction establishes the relationship of your recommender with you, the applicant. Okay. They have to talk about and show that they really know you. Then the body of the letter of recommendation, it gives specific examples of achievements, skills, and character. So if this person doesn't know you, there's no way they'll be able to give specific, examples like that. Then, of course, the conclusion summarizes why you are the best, the ideal candidate for that scholarship or that position. So, what are the key elements to include or to be included in the letter of recommendation? Specific examples that demonstrate your abilities. Okay. Are you a strong leader? Okay, if it's your supervisor who has seen how you relate with your fellow colleagues or fellow supervisees, that's an example they can give. Then alignment with the scholarship values and objectives. So they must align that letter with the values and objectives of the scholarship, not just writing anything that comes to their mind. And then, of course, the letter of recommendation should include showering genuine praises without over exaggeration. Okay, say it as it is. Okay, do not over color it. Say it as it is. Now, what are some common mistakes to avoid when it comes to letters of recommendation? On your part, you are the one who is asking someone to recommend you. Make sure that you are not asking too late or failing to provide adequate information. So let them know what the scholarship is about. Let them know when they're expected to submit. Okay. Make sure that you don't rush them because many times the person you're asking to recommend you needs time. Okay, they are busy, so you need to also respect that. Second thing is that on your part, you must choose recommenders who know you well. Don't go and choose recommenders who do not know you well enough so that they can write meaningfully well on your behalf. Okay, definitely your supervisor, your project supervisor will know you better, right, than somebody who probably just taught you one module or a course during the course of your 4 years or 3 years or 2 years in a university. On the recommenders part, then they should avoid writing vague or generic letters. It must be tailored, and this is why they need time and they need adequate information so that they can read through and tailor that letter of recommendation. Secondly, the recommender needs to focusing only on one aspect, needs not to focus only. And this is why it has to be somebody that knows you well. If they're only focusing on your academics and they ignore other areas of your life, like your leadership skills, that can also hamper you because it's not only academics that the selection committee is looking at. They're looking at your leadership skills, they're looking at your work ethic, they're looking at your commitments, So these are things that your recommender must be able to speak to. And if it's someone who knows you, then you're in a good place. So pitfalls that you need to avoid, missing deadlines, okay, and then submitting poorly formatted or unprofessional documents. If a document is poorly written, it will show that it's poorly written. And that can happen if you are running short of time, okay? And if you miss the deadline, of course, your application will be incomplete. Now, here's an example of a letter of recommendation, okay? This letter of recommendation sample shows it's from someone who got his supervisor to write for him a recommendation letter for his PhD program. So he got his master supervisor to actually write for him. Share this, with me. And the supervisor, if you see the way this letter is structured, the first and second paragraph actually establishes the relationship between the supervisor and the applicant. And then the third paragraph goes on to talk about, specific examples of leadership skills of his commitment to work and interests and passions, and then ends it with strong endorsement, that, oh, he's a good fit for this. And I tell you what, the fellow who gave this actually is doing his PhD at the moment, okay, as we speak. So this is just an example for you to see. If someone doesn't know you properly, they may not be able to put up this kind of a thing. All right. So what are some of the final words before we go into the Q&A? What are some of the proactive steps that you need to take? You need to build a strong relationship with potential recommenders early. And you are in, whether it's as an undergraduate or in secondary school or at your master's level, build strong relationships, okay? Either it's with your supervisor or with a member of staff or somebody. Just build that relationship and build it early because you'll be needing it, not only for scholarship applications, but you'll be needing it really from time to time. Then keep them updated on your progress and your achievements, all right? If you have a good relationship with your recommender, for example, if it's your supervisor and they're updated about your progress and your achievements, they would be well receptive to write a letter on your behalf and to recommend you. All right. Now, what are some of the checklists? You need to confirm deadlines and submission methods. Okay, some of them would ask you to submit via email, some would ask you to submit via Google Forms or whatever. Make sure you confirm that. And then thank your recommender sincerely after your submission. Do not forget to say thank you. Now, the closing thoughts that I have to share with us is this. A strong recommendation letter tells your story in a way that appeals to the scholarship committee, not just endorsing you. So yeah, somebody can come and endorse you and say, oh, I endorse you. I endorse this person for this. But it's not enough to endorse. Tell a story that shows that they know you and that is appealing. So this is why it's important to take this part of the scholarship process very serious. All right. Thank you. We're going to go to question and answers, and we'll be answering whatever questions you have at this point. Thank you very much. Okay. Andemba, it's over to you. Thank you.
Okay. Wow. Great talk. Thank you so much for uh, that segment and for giving us those very vital and useful information on our referees and the letters of recommendation. Okay, so Q&A will be going straight to the Q&A now, and maybe I should just put up my screen and take us to just run through the last segment. Okay. However, I do not, I'm unable to, I didn't set up the questions here that will be looking at them. But I think, Silas, you also have the questions, right?
Okay, yes, we have some of those here.
Okay. So I can list them if there is a need for that.
All right.
Okay, so thank you everyone. Now we are in the Q&A session and we have a number of questions. Should we start, Silas? Should we start with the live questions or
Yes, some of the questions
questions?
that came in during the live session, yeah, the other time.
Okay,
Good place to start.
all right. So we'll start with the live session question. So actually, before we had the webinar on 23rd of February, we sent out a form, a Google form for people to fill their questions, and some persons sent in questions. We have a ton of questions there, I think more than 10. So, and during the webinar on the 23rd, some persons asked a few questions. So we'll start with those ones. So if you didn't get it, this session, this webinar, we did it or we're doing it for a record to re-record the session that we had on the 23rd so that we can have it up there for anyone who missed any of the session because we couldn't, due to technical glitches, difficulties, we couldn't get the record properly for you. So that's why we're re-recording this. So the live session question, I think I remember Samuel Son Yote from Benue State asked a question, Benue State, Nigeria. He asked a question that, however, what if a referee does not have um, an official email address? Um, is it suitable or is it okay to still use that referee as your referee or use that individual as your referee? So Silas, maybe you want to go with that.
Okay. So yeah, ideally, if your referee is referees should have official email addresses, but in cases where they do not have it, still okay. However, they just need to submit using their institutional letterhead. So either the letterhead of the university where they are working, their faculty, or their company, someone who works in the company,
Mm,
because that's what really is important. Okay,
okay.
content and then the official letterhead that would
Okay.
give weight. And I'm also aware that not all institutions allow even their staff to use letterheads. Okay, so they can actually just put it on A4 and the PDF as we do. But it would be
Okay.
good to have their signature and where possible, they stamp.
Mhm.
Okay,
Okay.
just so that it shows that it is authentic.
Authentic. Okay. All right. Okay. So I think that's that for that. So I was saying official email is institutional email. I think that's the right description. All right. So those that don't have it now also um I think most institutions around the globe have institutional emails for their workers, especially those in academia, even those outside of academia. So yeah, in most cases, they will have. If they don't have, then they need an extra thing to show that it is authentic from them. Okay, so the next question, uh, if I can remember, Sam asked two questions. Well, can I remember the second one? Silas, do you have it? If not, we'll go to the ones that were sent to us online.
I remember that one, but it's okay with
Okay,
me.
so we'll go to the online questions. Sorry that I didn't display that. Maybe I could display that, right? But that would be very faint.
It's
Um,
okay. I can just read from here.
okay.
One of them asks, one of the questions we got from our Google form, that what are the necessary documents needed for someone who's aspiring to get a scholarship to study abroad? So, for every call for scholarships, they will have a list of documents, which is why you need to take your time to read through the call for scholarships. Okay? Take your time to read through it. The list of required documents will be listed. All right. But these are some that, when it comes to scholarship application, are non-negotiable. Your transcript of records, non-negotiable. Your certificates, okay? Uh, bachelor's or master's degree, it's non-negotiable. Letters of recommendation, absolutely. Either you are the one submitting or the recommenders will submit via an email or a link. That one is, it's a given. Letters of motivation, okay, is required. That is also a given. So these are some of the things that, and then if you're applying for a PhD, you will need to write a proposal, okay, of your study. So these are some of the givens that you must prepare to have, all right? Um, English language requirements. You can, depending on the schools, most schools now, you can actually get a waiver because, I mean, in Nigeria, or if you're studied in English, if your bachelor's or master's is done in English, you may just need to provide a letter
Mm.
showing that, oh, I actually, the study was conducted in English from your institute. But
All right.
these are some of, yes.
Okay. Great. Great. Thank you. I think that's well said. Now, or maybe I should just add, in very few cases, you could come across some PhD admission and scholarship adverts that may not necessarily ask for a proposal. Uh, in very few cases though, because they most times we have already existing kind of line of research and they will want you to just do an SOP to show your interest. Then when you now are admitted, they are now more comfortable to put you through their line of research apart from what is displayed on their website. Yeah. Okay. So the next one is the third person here didn't have a question. So the fourth person here said, how to find a scholarship. Yeah. And then we asked, how did he hear about us? He said he heard about us on social media. Okay. Either WhatsApp or Instagram. Okay. So how to find a scholarship? Very interesting question. Well, I
Mhm.
think there are different places or platforms that you can come across scholarship adverts. Uh, on general search, even on Google, you will come across some, and you could subscribe to some of the websites that actually are into the business or into sharing scholarship adverts, or either weekly or routinely, or even twice a week or more frequent than that. So, and also you could visit university or research institutes website to actually search for scholarship. And sometimes they may not even be advertised, but you can just cold email the lecturers or professors that are in charge, and you could be lucky to actually get to know that um, a vacancy exists there or they need students. So these are some of the places, even on social media, right? Sometimes even there are some social media pages that you really know that they talk about scholarship quite often. You can follow them up, Instagram, Twitter, and a number of those.
And on
Okay.
WhatsApp as well. So, Borderless Minds and Scholars also has its
Mhm.
WhatsApp group where you
Mhm.
can join in, and we do share scholarship opportunities from time to time. So that's also one place that you can
Mhm.
get to learn about scholarship. In our case, we share verified scholarships, and beyond just sharing, we help for those who need help with the applications. We have a way of coming in alongside to help them, right?
Oh,
That's putting
great,
out.
great. Thank you. Thank you for raising that, for mentioning that. Very important. Yeah, that was apt. So in our group, we share very frequent verified scholarship openings there and even research jobs. Okay, the next question is this person said application for international studies seem cumbersome. I have avoided it for years now. I've avoided it for years now. Will you teach, provide step-by-step guide through and help as a mentor through the application process? This person heard of us on social media also. Silas?
Yes. So at BMS, that's one of the things we do. We will not only share opportunities with you, but we'll also work with you. And just to put it out there, we have different packages. We have free ones, okay, and then we also have some that might require some bit of, help, and also so we have our packages out there. So it's just a matter, in our case, a matter of reaching out to us. But we're always ready to help, and it's not just to give you the info, and that's why we're here. Okay.
Okay. All right. So this person, if you are watching this video, just get in touch with BMS and you will be mentored. We are happy to mentor people and we're happy to increase our number of alumni out there. That's why we are here. The next question is how to submit a convincing personal statement, like statement of purpose. Okay.
Okay. Well,
We-
like I said, we this is just the beginning, and it's a webinar
mm,
series, so we will definitely be addressing statement of purpose.
mm,
Just be on the lookout. We're definitely going to have a webinar on that. Okay.
yes.
But a statement of purpose is as important, okay, as your letter of recommendation. So
Mm,
we have also a step-by-step guide, and we have mentored quite a number of people on writing statements of purpose. And these people have really gotten into, different programs in different parts of the world. Uh,
Yeah.
please be on the lookout. We'll announce that.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Please stay tuned and join our session on that we dedicate mainly for statement of purpose and letters of application. We'll spend more time to talk about that, but those are documents that you write yourself. So you need to sell out yourself very well. And if you don't know how to do it, you would rather harm yourself than do yourself good. And that's why we're here to help you um, all the way through. Okay, next question is how to apply. I mean, this first asking how to apply for scholarship. Well, we just talked about that, right? The step by step, starting from opening account. So yeah, the answer is right in our the first session of today's recorded webinar. Okay, next one is what are the easiest countries to secure scholarship? Can IELTS be made cheaper for some people and all of that? Okay, quickly, Silas, before we round up.
Okay. I think every country has their procedure. Okay, so I wouldn't say there are some that are easier and one that is more difficult. It's a matter of
Yeah.
following procedure. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
but at BMS, we're here to help you, regardless of what the procedure is,
Yeah.
right? So, as long as you're ready to follow the procedure, you have no problem. The second
Mm.
question about IELTS, that's the language test I just mentioned earlier, that many countries waive, especially if you have taken your degree program in English. Okay, so all you will be needing is an official letter from your institution stating that you took your study in English. Okay, and already your transcript of record, your certificates, everything will be in English language. So it shows that and it proves that you took that in English. But in a case where you are still required to take the English test, especially because maybe they want to whittle down the number of applicants for particular scholarship, then it would be advisable to go for that. But concerning the pricing, English test bodies set their different pricing, and they don't have waivers or anything. So you need to follow
I'll come
their
on.
pricing. Okay.
Okay. Uh, Okay. So you can try to get funding for that if you can get a support somewhere to fund that. Okay. And then you can just focus on places where they can waive your English requirements. By the way, if you are from Nigeria, Nigeria uses English, so you should be fine. Okay. The next one, as we round up, will be very brief. How do I get to study abroad? We've mentioned that, right? You follow the application process. If you need help, you contact BMS. And then this other person who has so many questions says, you explain the mentoring or coaching process. We have talked about that, right? We may not be able to list everything here. You get in touch and we groom you. We follow up with your application. You make your draft and we guide you on how to improve on them. That's it. And what are the essential things that you need? We've mentioned those. Just listen to our video carefully and you will get them. And you have questions, put them out to us and we'll be more than happy to answer. The other person said, what's the impact? How does BMA work and what's the impact on youth? So basically, we coach, train, and mentor applicants for scholarship and admission and research jobs. So the impact is that we provide them access to quality education by the grace of God. So thank you, everyone, I think. Silas, I think that will be all.
Yes, that'll be all for now. Please be on the lookout for our subsequent webinars. Thank you. If you do have questions, you can type them in the section, in the comment section, or you can reach out
Comment
to us
section of
via
the YouTube.
any yes, on YouTube, or reach out to us on any of our other platforms, email, WhatsApp, where
Okay.
we are. Thank you all.
Thank you. Bye bye. Session.
Bye.